Political columnist at the Daily Beast. Good Lord, Eleanor, where do I even begin? Have you ever seen anything like this?
Well, it's not the America that I grew up believing in and that we learn about in our schools. The peaceful transition of power is a hallmark of the small d democratic system. And while a sizable portion of the American public voted for Donald Trump, he did lose re-election, and he has been fighting to overturn that result ever since Election Day, which is now more than 2 months. And he has succeeded in making millions of people believe that the election was somehow rigged and that his second term as president was stolen from him. And he has, through his tweets, which are followed by millions of people, all his followers, he has basically encouraged this uprising. He has warned in comments in recent weeks that bad things will happen if we don't adjust the election results. So in many ways, we should have seen this coming, but the U.S. Capitol was very thinly guarded. The U.S. Capitol.
But why? Why is that, Eleanor? They knew these protests were happening on January 6th.
The U.S. Capitol Police is not a real police force, frankly. They put up barricades, and I think they assumed there would be protesters. It's a failure of imagination or a failure of coming to grips with the reality that President Trump has thrust upon us. I don't think they envisioned the storming of the Capitol. This has never happened in hundreds of years, or 200 years of history. And so, and then the fact that the National Guard, which the mayor had activated previously, where were they? Where was the district police? I mean, the Capitol is on federal land, so there were some communications issues. It's a huge embarrassment for this country in the eyes of the world. But I must say, Joe Biden will be inaugurated president on January 20th. The insurrection that we are witnessing going on today will not succeed, but it is hugely damaging to the trust that people have in government and belief that we have in our system in this country. I think the president-elect basically said democracy is under assault like it hasn't been before, and that's certainly true.
So, Eleanor, where does this leave this procedural process of certifying the electoral votes, which is what the House and Senate was doing with all their objections? Obviously, that was put on hold. So will they pick that up at some point? And what's going to happen from now until January 20th?
I think they initially hoped they could get back today and complete it today. I'm assuming that they're going to get back to this as soon as possible, presumably tomorrow, once law and order has been established in the Capitol. So maybe that's optimistic, but it's a procedural matter, and I think what will the 10 or so Republican senators who were perpetuating the lie that the election was somehow fraudulent and were going to object to the installation of a new president, what are they going to do? Are they going to proceed with that? It's gamesmanship. And two of the leaders of that group hold prestigious degrees from Yale University. One of them, Senator Josh Hawley, actually clerked for the Supreme Court Justice John Roberts, who's now the Chief Justice. They know the Constitution, they know the law, they know what they're doing is perpetrating a lie. So in view of what they've seen unfold and how when you feed these lies to a gullible public that wants to believe every lie that President Trump utters, and once they've seen the damage that has created, are they going to continue to go ahead with their antics? That's one big question. But the procedural role will be fulfilled, and Vice President Pence has basically serve notice to the president that he is not going to try to overturn the results of the election, which undoubtedly infuriated President Trump. And President Trump basically he encouraged the protesters today.
We have video or sound of President Trump addressing the crowd earlier in Washington, and I want you to listen to that.
We have come to demand that Congress do the thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country.
And Eleanor, he did a taped video thing about an hour ago. He said it's time for these protesters to go home, but he again called the election fraudulent and the votes stolen. This doesn't help much, does it?
No. And the thing is, a lot of people believe him. And if you believe him and he's telling you're a patriot if you object, a lot of people are going to take that as an order that they should fulfill. And I think that's we've got a curfew in the city tonight, and I think there's some well-placed concerns that there could be violence overnight. And so this president has, in my view, created so much damage to our democracy in his 4 years. And as he's going out the door, and he will go out the door, he seems determined to just destroy everything. And the fact that his appearance in Georgia, a southern state which usually loves Republicans, 2 critical races were run by Democrats, should be another signal to his to the public that this is a man whose power is waning. He's not a man who's been, denied a rightful office. He's a man who is on his way out the door and who is trying to take down his party and his country with him. And it's very unsettling to think what else he might do over the next 2 weeks. He still has enormous power as president.
I know you'll be watching, and so will we. Thank you,